It's a terrific Thursday today, boys and girls, and this week we've been reading all different kinds of books. We have read mystery and adventure books and books that'll help us make art. Today we're going to read some birthday books. And you're thinking, birthday books? Well, normally if we were in school, you would be the first person to check out the birthday book that your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa bought you for the library. And so since we're not there, I can't take your picture and you can't check it out yet. But when we get back, you'll get to check it out. So today I am going to say happy birthday to the people in April and May. So April the 7th, Owen, here is the book that your mom and dad bought for you. Bear Came Along, and we're going to read this book today. Isn't that wonderful? And then on May the 16th, Olivia, you're going to have a birthday. And your book that your mom and dad bought for the library was Frozen 5-Minute Stories. Isn't that wonderful? And that was bought for you, and your birthday is on May the 16th. On May the 28th is Juliana. And Juliana, this is from Robert and Sarah Burford. And I think those are your grandparents. And Mac, your grandmother bought you a book, Monster Trucks. And your birthday is... Let's see, I'm reading it now. Mac is May the 14th. On May the 16th is Jillian Schmid from Mom, Dad, and Callan. And this is The Hippo at the End of the Hall. And I'm going to do a book talk on that for 4th grade. And then Foster Novak, 2 books from your grandparents. You have Don't Forget Dexter and The Scarecrow. So happy birthday to all of our April and May birthdays. And today we are going to read from Owen and Olivia's books. And first we're going to read Bear Came Along. Bear Came Along is a Georgia Book Award winner this year. And let's see who is the author. The author is Richard T. Morris. So here we have Richard T. Morris, Bear Came Along. Once there was a river that flowed night and day, but it didn't know it was a river until... Until what? Until Bear came along. Bear was just being curious. Look at Bear sticking his foot in that water. Wow. When he realized what the river could do, but he didn't know he was on an adventure until... There he is. He's getting on an adventure. Look at him. He looks like he fell in. Until Froggy hopped on. Froggy was a lonely frog who was looking for a friend, but she didn't know how many she had. So there's Froggy hopping along on Bear, and she didn't know how many friends she had. Until the turtles showed up. The turtles tried to warn them about the things that could go wrong, but they didn't know how to enjoy the ride. So there are the turtles warning the bear and the frog. Until Beaver climbed aboard. Beaver was born to captain. He knew exactly where to go, but he didn't know about the detours until... Look at all of them. They're all on the log together. I wonder if it's going to sink. Let's see. The raccoons dropped in. The raccoons were so excited about the twists and turns ahead, but they didn't know they had to be careful. It looks like to me that they're going to be riding on the rapids. Oh, no. You know, Miss Hillis is a scaredy cat. She can't ride on rapids. Until they crashed into Duck. Duck was so content being right where she was, but she didn't know there was a world to see. There's Duck. Until until, oh my goodness. Look at all of them. I think the rapids are coming. Let's see. It's something. It's not rapids. It's a waterfall. Waterfalls are beautiful, but Miss Hill wouldn't want to go over one. And then what happened? Bear held on to Froggy. Froggy held on to Turtle. Turtle held on to the Beaver. Beaver held on to Raccoon, and Raccoon held on to Duck. Oh my goodness! They all had to hold on to each other. Oh, what a ride! They look happy and excited. Oh my goodness! So many different animals living their separate lives, but they didn't know they were in it together until the river came along. So they all went to the river together. The end. Isn't that a wonderful book? And Owen, you get to be the first person to check this book out. I am so excited for you, and happy birthday, and thanks to your mom and dad. And now our next story is going to come from Frozen, or at least a little bit. These are Frozen 5-minute stories. Well, I don't know whether we can read the whole thing. It says, Frozen. The kingdom of Arendelle was a happy place. The king and queen had 2 young daughters, Anna and Elsa. The girls were their pride and joy, but the family had a secret. Elsa could create ice and snow out of thin air. One night, Anna convinced Elsa to turn the ballroom into a winter wonderland. As the sisters happily played together, Elsa accidentally lost control of her magic, and an icy blast hit Anna in the head, and she fell to the floor unconscious. This sounds a lot like the first movie. The king and queen rushed the girls to the trolls, mysterious healers who knew about magic. A wise troll named Grandpappy saved Anna by removing her memories of Elsa's magic. He explained that she was lucky to have been hit in the head and not in the heart. The troll told the king and queen that Elsa's powers would only grow stronger. Fear will be her enemy, he warned. The king and queen knew they had to protect their daughter. To keep her magic a secret, they closed the castle gates. The king gave Elsa gloves to contain her powers, but she was still afraid she might hurt someone. She even avoided her sister to keep her safe. Then, when Anna and Elsa were teenagers, their parents were lost at sea. The sisters had never felt so alone. Oh my goodness. Elsa stayed inside where she could hide her magic, but she could not keep the castle gates closed forever. On the day of her coronation, her subjects were invited inside to celebrate. Anna was thrilled for a chance to meet new people. She had barely stepped outside when she met Prince Hans of the Southern Isles. The two instantly fell in love. At the coronation ball, Prince Hans asked Anna to marry him, and Anna said yes, and the couple went to Elsa for her blessing. But Elsa refused to bless the marriage. She couldn't let Anna marry a man she had just met. Anna couldn't believe her sister. Why do you shut me out? What are you so afraid of? She cried. As Elsa fought with her sister, she lost control of her magic. Ice seemed to shoot out of her hands. Now all of Arendelle knew her secret. Panicked, Elsa fled to the mountains. Oh. With her secret out, Elsa let her powers loose. A storm raged around her as she created an ice palace and even changed the way she looked. Below her, ice and snow covered Arendelle. Anna felt awful. Leaving Hans in charge, she went after her sister. As Anna trekked through the forest, she lost her horse. Luckily, she met an ice harvester named Kristoff and his reindeer Sven. The two agreed to help her find Elsa. High in the mountains, Anna and Kristoff came across a dazzling winter wonderland where they met a living snowman. I'm Olaf, he said. Anna realized that Elsa must have created him. She asked Olaf to lead them to Elsa so she could bring back summer. Olaf loved the idea of summer and happily led them to Elsa's palace. Inside, Anna told Elsa about the terrible winter storm. It's okay. You can just unfreeze it, she said, but Elsa didn't know how to stop the snow. Frustrated, she cried out, I can't, and an icy blast shot across the room and hit Anna in the heart. Kristoff rushed to help Anna. I think we should go. Of course, they have all the songs in the movie. At the base of the mountain, Kristoff noticed that Anna's hair was turning white. He knew his friends the trolls could help. Grandpappy saw at once that Anna was hurt. There is ice in your heart, put there by your sister, he said. If not removed to solid ice, you will freeze forever. Grandpappy explained that the only act of true love could thaw out a frozen heart. Anna knew Hans was her true love. Maybe a kiss from him would save her. So they raced back to Arendelle to find him. But Hans was not in Arendelle. He had set out to look for Anna when her horse returned without her. Hans and the search party arrived at Elsa's palace. The men attacked Elsa and she defended herself. Suddenly, one of the men aimed a crossbow at Elsa and Hans pushed it aside. The bolt hit a chandelier and crashed to the ground, knocking Elsa over. Hans and his men took her back and locked her in a dungeon. Outside in the kingdom, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven hurried down the mountain. Anna was getting weaker. Kristoff was worried about her. At the castle gates, he passed her to the royal servants. He was starting to realize that he cared deeply about Anna, but he knew that her true love, Hans, could make her well again. Anna found Hans in the library. She asked him to save her life with a kiss, but he refused. Hans had only been pretending to love Anna so he could take over Arendelle. Putting out the room's fire, he left Anna to freeze. In the dungeon, all Elsa could think about was getting away from Arendelle. It was the only way to protect everyone from her powers. Elsa became so upset that she froze the whole dungeon and escaped. Alone in the library, Anna could only dwell on her mistakes. In trying to find love, had she doomed herself and her sister? Just when Anna had given up all hope, Olaf arrived. The snowman lit a fire, and even though Anna worried that he might melt, some people are worth melting for, he said. Olaf looked out the window and saw Kristoff returning. The snowman realized that Kristoff was the true love who could save Anna. And what happens next? I think we all know. Olaf helped Anna inside where she spotted Kristoff across the frozen fjord. If she could reach him in time, she would be saved. But then she saw something else. Hans was about to strike Elsa with his sword. Using her remaining strength, Anna threw herself in front of Elsa. Hans' sword came down just as Anna's body froze. Oh, Anna, Elsa said, and then something amazing happened. Anna began to thaw. An act of true love will thaw a frozen heart, Olaf said. Anna's love for Elsa had saved them both. Love, Elsa cried. That's it. Elsa realized that love was the key to her magic. She reversed the winter and brought back summer. And Hans was astonished to see Anna alive. Anna, he said, but she froze your heart. The only frozen heart around here is yours, Anna said, and sent him reeling with one punch. With summer restored, Arendelle returned to normal, but from then on, the castle gates were open for good. For the first time in a long while, it was a happy place again. Queen Elsa and Princess Anna were the happiest of all, for they had found their way back to each other. And that is the end of our first 5-minute story. And this is Olivia's book from her mom and dad. It'll be in the library, and you can be the first person to check it out. I hope everyone has a terrific Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow with more birthday books.